folks. Jeff Thitoff here, the Jeff Thitoff Show. I'm Tito. Thanks so much for tuning in. Follow me on Twitter @ThatHappens. We got lots of great stuff going on right now. I want to get into about the two up. RJ Umberger is going to join us. He is a former Columbus Blue Jacket. This weekend being honored at the Jackets Tampa Bay game over at Nationwide Arena in Columbus here. I'll get more into that with RJ Umberger, former Buckeye great hockey player and Jackets great as well. So we'll talk to him. Looking forward to that. Last night, the Jackets lost to the Senators 4-1. Listless game kind of for them. Wasn't a good effort. They are playing better hockey lately, but the Senators are a good team. I'm not surprised the Jackets lost that game, but the effort, it seemed like they were flat that entire game. But they was 4-1 to the Senators. OSU men's basketball team, big win last night, 82-74 over Minnesota. That was over the shot. And what's important about it is, first of all, they damn near lost the game, but they got out to a big lead very early. They win, like I said, 82-74 in overtime. Bruce Thornton scored 23 points. Judy Mobley had 26 to lead the way. But with the way this Ohio State team has played, I would say in the last 8-9 years, any win in January is a good win for this team. Any win in January, because we've seen it the last couple of years, like I say, 7, 8, 9 years, whatever it's been, where the team, when they have chances for wins, and they don't win every game in January, they don't lose every game in January, but they seem to lose games they should win. So now at this point, they are 13-5 overall, 5-3 in the Big Ten, trending the right way. They need to stack together wins right now because February is a gauntlet for them, a gauntlet of a schedule. They do have number 2 Michigan coming up this weekend, but they've got to stack wins where they can. So nice win for Diebler. Latest bracketology I saw, still at Ohio State in the field. Maybe it's a playing game, but they got time. If they can somehow get a signature win in February or two and stay at or above, hopefully above 500 in the Big Ten for the season, then it looks good that as far as their chances go of making the NCAA tournament, something I think is very, very important for the future of Jake Diebler. I'm not saying Diebler will get fired if they don't make the tournament, but I think there'll be discussions. And I think he'll still be back as long as they don't completely crap the bed the rest of the way. I think he's back again, but there'll be a lot more heat on him next season if he doesn't get it done this season. It's important to someone like Bruce Thornton, too. I mentioned him at the top of the broadcast here, that 23 points last night, a 4-time captain at Ohio State. He plays his ass off. And he has not yet played in the NCAA tournament. Hasn't had a chance to do it yet. Really need this for him. And I think they're a dangerous tournament team. I've said it before that, look, I think they're going to be a team that you don't want to face in the tournament when you got Bruce Thornton. The biggest problem is depth. They don't have the depth. Their bench last night scored 6 points. The rest of the other 76 points were scored by the starters. Actually, by 4 of the starters, because Amari Bynum, the freshman, played 22 minutes, took 1 shot and missed it, didn't score. It's the first time since December 9th that he played that few of minutes in a game. So it's been a while since he has not played over 20 or hasn't played 22 minutes or fewer. So got to get him going. But after the game, Diebler just said, look, the situation presented itself that, I've got to remember that Bynum's just a true freshman, young kid, and he still played well. It just, the stats didn't translate. Didn't work in his favor, but not to read too much into it. Cavs play Charlotte on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, and the OSU women, ranked 11th or 12th, based on which poll you look at, they're hosting Indiana on Thursday night. And Kevin McGuff's team has made huge strides. They got the big win over TCU on a neutral site game. That was a significant win over the then 10th-ranked Horned Frogs. And so they have now jumped up. They were like a 6 seed, I think, most recently. And then they're now, in the most recent bracketology there on ESPN, they've now jumped up to a 3 seed. And we know it's important because in the women's NCAA tournament, if you're one of the top 4 seeds, top 16 overall seeds, you get to host the first 2 games. You're hopefully 2 games, I would think, but the first and second round game, you get to host those. And so that's a huge advantage for Ohio State. Ohio State's doing a fantastic job this year, still using McGuff's system, but the team seems deeper. They're rebounding better. They're still doing 40 minutes of hell on defense. And so that's a big game coming at home against Indiana. Those are those games that you've got to win. Got to win those kinds of games, got to string them together. But Ohio State hosting Indiana on Thursday. Speaking of Indiana, the Big Ten announced one of the games for next year for Ohio State, the dates on that. We already know the non-conference schedule, the dates, not sure on times for those yet. But Ohio State, Indiana next year, it's been announced in the game in Bloomington against the last two. It'll be between the last two national champions, but it'll be October 17th when that game will take place. And it'll be unlike any other Ohio State, Indiana game in Bloomington in decades. But defending champs Indiana hosts the 2024 champs, 2024 season, 2025 champs, Ohio State. That'll be October 17th. And I just hope it's not a noon kickoff game on Fox. That's all I'm hoping for. One player who's not going to be there is Alberto Mendoza, the backup quarterback, just ended his freshman year, Fernando Mendoza's younger brother. And he is going elsewhere. They brought in Josh Hoover will be the starting quarterback for Indiana. On likelihood, he's coming over from TCU. That's where Hoover started 31 games for the Horned Frogs. He's got damn near 10,000 passing yards in his career. But Mendoza looks like he's going to Georgia Tech. He'll be at Georgia Tech next season. But it's with his older brother going and Indiana bringing in a veteran quarterback who's had success, I think he kind of saw the writing on the wall for that. So, speaking of next season, Ohio State's football schedule this past year was not that daunting. It wasn't like the Texas game, obviously big game there, but it's the Washington game on the road, Illinois on the road, Michigan, we know about that one. Next year, though, it's setting up a lot differently because they're going to play Texas on the road. Texas in these way too early rankings, anywhere I've seen them from 1 to like 6, usually closer to 1 than to 6. But so play Texas in their second game of the season after taking on Ball State. Then they'll play Kent State. Those should be the Ball State and Kent State games should both be easy wins. But so they're playing Texas, they're playing Indiana. Indiana again in the way too early rankings. I've seen anywhere from 1 to 6 on them as well. Illinois is going to be decent again. They've got Oregon again, Iowa at Iowa, always a tough place for Ohio State to play. They will be playing at Nebraska. Look, I'm not sold on Matt Rule, but it's still a tough place to play at Nebraska. Yeah, Ohio State gets everyone's best shot. They also have to play at USC, and they host Michigan. So there's a lot of tough games in there for Ohio State. And so they're going to be challenged next year. If you gave me an over-under, how many regular season losses will Ohio State have? If you said 1.5 or 2, let's say you said 2.5, I'd take under. I think they're going to lose 2 games next year. As it stands right now, we don't know. And these preseason rankings, these way too early rankings. Remember last year, Penn State way up there, Clemson way up there, Florida State was, everyone expected bounce backs from all those teams, and then they all underperformed. And so you can't take complete stock in it, but at least going into the season, when you look at it, people are going to say Ohio State's got a much tougher schedule coming up. Mel Kiper Jr. for ESPN came out with his mock draft, most recent one after the NCAA championship game, the CFP game. And he's got Arvell Reese for Ohio State going number 2 to the New York Jets. The Jets before this, it probably would have been Dante Moore, the quarterback for Oregon, who decided to come back. A little bit unexpected on that one. Nonetheless, Arvell Reese at 2. Cardale Tate, the wide receiver from Ohio State, at 5. That'd be great for Jackson Dart to have him and Neighbors both on that field. It's it is a great and Cam Scadaboo also. It's a great way to go about to start the John Harbaugh era in New York. Caleb Downs, safety for Ohio State. He's got him going to the Bengals at 10. I don't want that, only because I don't trust the Bengals. It's a great pick if they get it. If he slides to 10, it's a great pick. Great value pick for Cincinnati. But I don't want to see him in Cincinnati because it just doesn't seem like anything good happens there long term. Now, granted, Burrow, I know that worked out. Former Ohio State-ish player, I guess. But Caleb Downs, 10 to Cincinnati. They've got the Cowboys taking linebacker Sonny Styles. And that's somebody, if you look at it, it'd feel a huge need for the Dallas Cowboys with the way their defense. Now, it performed very poorly early on, got better as the season went on, but Sonny Styles would be a great pick for them. And he's a guy who's raised the stock. He and Arvell Reese have both raised their stock so much from the start of last season, from the start of the draft, even last season. I guess I could say that. But they've both done incredible things. Styles and Reese are built for the NFL. They absolutely are. And then rounding out the Ohio State players in the first round, Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle. He's got the Bears taking them. The Bears have got a couple of guys who are going to be free agents. They rely on the defensive line, so McDonald would be a good one there for the Chicago Bears. Other news in the NFL. Mike McDaniel, the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, he is going to go to be the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. He was with the Dolphins, had some good times with Tua till Tua started getting beat up too much. It's funny. I saw something funny. Funny is not the right word. Interesting. I saw Darren Waller on a podcast, and he said that when he got to Miami and he'd watched Tua, and he could make every throw in practice. Looked really good in practice. Red jersey on, don't hit the quarterback. Just looked like an incredible talent. Gets on the field on Sundays or Mondays or Saturdays or Thursdays, whenever the Dolphins played their games. Anyway, and looked like a totally different quarterback. And you start to wonder, does he have a form of PTSD? Like when you look at it, because Waller said, I saw him, and like, I'm paraphrasing. He was like, damn, this guy's good. And he gets in the game, and he's not good. And so I wonder how much of that is just some of the shrapnel still in his body from all the concussions he had. So Mike McDaniel, interesting though, he was mentioned as a candidate for the head coaching job of the Cleveland Browns, removed himself from the running for that to go take an OC job with the Chargers. That tells you the state of the Cleveland Browns. That, first of all, the guy he fired, Kevin Stefanski, is hired rather quickly to be the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. He's a 2-time coach of the year. Stefanski is. The Browns have got, I don't have a plan at quarterback that I would be confident in. And I have no confidence in the front office. They gave Deshaun Watson all that money, guaranteed. Last year, they drafted Dylan Gabriel, and they drafted Shedeur Sanders later on. I don't think either one of those are a franchise quarterback. So what are you going to do at quarterback? And that's what you need. If you look at the teams that advanced the playoffs this year, okay? Look at the ones. First of all, you still got Bo Nix would still be playing if he hadn't broken his ankle in that game against Buffalo. You've got New England Drake May, another second-year quarterback. Those are both teams with second-year quarterbacks and really good coaches. Caleb Williams, second-year quarterback, made it to the playoffs, lost a tough one to the Rams. But so you get these second-year quarterbacks that have solid coaching staffs that are developing them. Jaden Daniels for Washington led them to the playoffs his rookie year, hurt a lot this year, but another second-year quarterback with success. So, you start looking at all of that, and the Browns, where they are at, they have no plan at quarterback. They don't have a head coach. And I mean, unless you believe that they're going to play Deshaun Watson, which I'm not convinced they will, they don't have a franchise quarterback. And it's hard to find. One of the things John Harbaugh said, what he loved about the Giants' job was getting to work with Jackson Dart. Paramount to him. The reason the Bills and Ravens jobs are so attractive right now is because they've got really good quarterbacks you can rely on. So it just goes to show you how important it is to make that right selection at quarterback. Now, the Browns have got 2 first-round picks this year, which in years past, that'd be good. You hope they're good quarterback. But there's really only one, Mendoza, that people are consensus on, like, this guy's going to be really good. So the Browns they're doing, I don't know how many years in a row it's been a rebuild now for them. They fired a really good head coach, and they are arguably the least attractive job right now open in the NFL. All right, let's switch over to the NBA. Tough loss for the Warriors. Jimmy Butler tore his right ACL Monday night in their win over the Heat. He's out for the year now. So what do the Warriors do? Right now, you obviously still have Steve Kerr there, Draymond Green. and Steph Curry from the title runs. You added Al Horford, championship game, championship series experience. Yeah, Buddy Hield on that team. You've got a very unhappy Jonathan Kuminga. So the question is, what will the Warriors do? Will they ride it out with this team, get to the play-in game, and then maybe be done for the season? Will they try to make a trade? Will they try to trade Butler to get, I don't know, Anthony Davis? Butler being out for the rest of this year. I don't know what they're going to do. Somehow put Kuminga with somebody, but because the best players have got such exorbitant salaries, if the Warriors want to trade somebody, trade for Anthony Davis, or trade for, if they still somehow got the Giannis sweepstakes, you're gonna have to trade one of your core players to do it. I'm not sure if the Warriors will do that, but we're watching the end of this Warriors dynasty, and it's no fault, I don't believe, of the Warriors. I think it's just a fault of how hard it is to maintain. You can't do what the Patriots did with the Brady times. Warriors have come damn close, but you can't do that in the NBA. There's so many different, and I know there's caps in both of them, but there's the way you have to match up these salaries, and there's a first apron, second apron, all these different things. Makes it really hard to do it. I contend, though, if the Warriors were in the East, then they would have a chance to make the NBA Finals. The reason their dynasty is crumbling is because of how good the West is. OKC, Denver, Houston, Minnesota. There's some really good teams in the West, and I don't see how the Warriors can compete with those teams. East, wide open. I think they would compete there. I'm not saying they would be a shoe-in or a lock for the NBA Finals, but a hell of a lot better chance. Steph is 37 years old. Horford's 39. It's just a question of what they want to do. If they want to try to pursue something like that, my advice would be to make the run out of respect for Steph Curry. I know Jimmy Butler's been good there. They've been really good with Jimmy Butler, but he's not part of the legacy. I wouldn't want to trade Draymond for Anthony Davis, even though it'd be a huge deal. It'd be a good deal for Golden State if they did that. And you're not trading Steph. So you got to find a way to get creative with the cap. You got a couple of first-round picks you can deal out and try to make the team better that way. But they definitely need. I've seen maybe they add Klay Thompson, which would be probably he's overpaid, but that'd be a fun one to have. Just see if they can do it. See if he can catch some lightning in a bottle down the stretch. Thompson's shown me nothing to make me believe that's possible in the last couple of years, but nonetheless, it'd be fun to have that happen. So Jimmy Butler, yes, out for the season now because of a torn ACL. Before we get to RJ Umberger, Michael LaSasso, he is the reigning NCAA individual golf champion, and he has decided. So he was at Ole Miss, but this year coming up, he's in the Masters, or was in the Masters. Got an exemption through because of being the NCAA individual champion. He gets to play in the Masters. He entered into the field. Well, now he decides he's going to leave college and go play on the LIV Tour on Phil Mickelson's High Flyers team. Now I've heard numbers like 20 million he's getting to do this. Their season starts up here really soon, but so he's taking the 20 million and giving up a chance to play in the Masters. I wonder if he'll regret that. You might say, no, $20 million. I'll regret some stuff for 20 million, and you're absolutely right about that. There's certainly certain things you can do, and 20 million, it heals a lot of wounds. It heals a lot of regret. You get 20 million. But I wonder if he would have gone to the LIV people and said, yes, I'm going to join, but I'm not going to join until after the Masters. I want to play in the Masters. I can't believe LIV would say no at that point. I think they'd still take him. If he's attractive in January at 20 million, let's say he goes out and plays great in the Masters. Now he's a hell of a lot more attractive. Has a good round out, has a good tournament run out there. Do you think they're going to turn down 20 million? So where we've seen guys like, we've seen guys bet on themselves. Dante Moore comes to mind in Oregon, where he could have been the number 2 pick overall in the upcoming draft. And he said, you know what? I'm going back to school. He's making probably $6 million to do that, but he's giving up that being the second round pick. And maybe it'll work out for him. But if he regresses at all, next year's a tougher quarterback class. He's betting on himself. I don't feel like LaSasso is. It feels to me the opposite on that one. If you wanted to bet on himself, he should have said to LIV, hey, look, I know you're offering me $20 million. Love to play LIV. I want to play in the Masters first. With the confidence, I'm going to go out there and play really well. And that $20 million, you have to pay me more to come play in April. I don't know all the logistics, how it would work, but I just think that it feels to me like maybe he's not maybe he's not betting on himself there. Like I said, $20 million takes it will remove a lot of regret. Yes. But and for me, it's more like I'm looking at it as somebody who's never played Augusta, loves Augusta, knows the history behind the Augusta by the Masters over there. And I see that if he goes over there to LIV and doesn't play well, the Masters is probably going to be poof David Copperfield when it's all said and done for him. But if he went to the Masters and played well, opens up a lot more doors for him. So anyway, I want to get into it with RJ Umberger now, talk to him. A lot of great things going on in Columbus this weekend with they're honoring 4 former players, Pascal Leclerc, Cam Atkinson, RJ Umberger, Derek Dorsett, all being honored this week. They're going to have an autograph session from 6 to 7 at the arena. And then before opening face-off, they're going to do a ceremony puck drop and, show videos, I'm sure, on the Jumbotron for these guys. But RJ Umberger was a fan favorite here, played hockey at Ohio State. And so we'll let's get him on here now and talk about what this weekend means to him, a little bit more about his career.
Sports fans, it's time to gear up. Head to fanstreamsports.com and check out our brand new merchandise store. We're talking bold t-shirts, 3/4 zips, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more. Everything you need to rep your favorite shows and your favorite crew. Whether you're rolling with the J.P. Peterson Show in Tampa Bay, From the Rough in Dallas, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, or the Jeff Thitoff Show in Ohio, or any of our FanStream Sports original programming, we've got the perfect look for game day and every day. So don't wait. fanstreamsports.com. Click merch and grab your gear now. Wear the stream, live the stream, fanstreamsports.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream.
All right, folks, now we are joined by former Blue Jacket. RJ Umberger joins us here on the Jeff Thitoff Show. And I know we got coming up here pretty soon. This Saturday, actually, will be the Blue Jackets' 25th anniversary game celebration. And you're one of the former players being recognized there. And I'm curious, let me ask you this question first. What was your experience like playing hockey here in Columbus?
I mean, it was a positive one, obviously something that I loved, and it meant a lot to me to be able to play here in Columbus. When it all started, coming to Ohio State, and in the 3 years I spent there, loved every second of that, made a lot of friends, grew to love the area, and, was proud to be a Buckeye. So the roots started there while I was in Columbus. And then when I had the opportunity, when I got traded back here to Columbus to play for the Jackets, and obviously I just fell in love with that right from the get-go, and playing for the team and the fans, and just getting reacclimated to the area. Just it felt right. My kids were born here, and it was obviously a special 6 years for me playing here.
6th all time in points. Sixth all time in goals, 7th in points, and also I believe in power play goals. Or you're 4th there. I'm curious, when you played college hockey, how big of a jump was it? What was the biggest change for you going from college to playing professionally?
Well, so my first jump was to the AHL. Played in Philadelphia there, Philadelphia Phantoms, and that year it was the year of a lockout, and the AHL was some of the best hockey that's ever played there, with a lot of NHL guys playing down in the AHL. So it was competitive, it was fast, it was a real testament to pro hockey, and the adjustment to the NHL. So it took me a few games obviously to get going and get used to it, and I think the biggest thing was just the journey of like how long a season was, playing back-to-back nights, 3 and 4 days, that the January, February, the grind and the physical toll it took on your body. So I think that was an adjustment, and being able to learn how to play a little bit more of a power forward, a tougher game along the corners and in front of the net. So, as easy as more I got adjusted and used to that, the easier it became.
He is RJ Umberger. He'll be part of the group coming in on January 24th. He'll also be joined for the game on Saturday the 24th with Pascal Leclerc, Cam Atkinson, and Derek Dorsett. And there'll be festivities going on. Season ticket holders get a chance to attend a private luncheon with these guys prior to the game. Then they'll do a autograph session at 6 o'clock at Nationwide Arena on the concourse there. The alumni then recognized at an on-ice ceremony prior to the puck drop, which is scheduled for 7 o'clock. Curious, RJ, is there anybody you faced in your NHL career that if you saw them today, you might still want to throw a punch at them?
That's tough. There was a lot of battles through the years, some with the Penguins, both when I was with Philly and when I was with Columbus. There's definitely been a bunch. The name for a few guys, that'd be hard. There was a defenseman that played a little bit in Phoenix, is Vandermeer. He was always tough. Every time I went to the net, I got a cross check or something. So, there was different guys in the league, and obviously, the more you were around that net, the more you got hit. So,
hey, Dang, you're down there. It's going to happen inevitably. I don't know if were they clean hits or were they dirty?
Not always clean. That's
Okay.
part of the game. There was a time in San Jose, I was going around the net, and it was after a whistle, and I got hit from behind, and just my face got, driven right down into the ice. And I remember, cracking a tooth on it and everything. And that play was definitely not clean.
I remember when I played soccer as a kid, I was like 7 years old, and I got kicked out. I got knocked out of the game by a dirty player. And we had a guy on our team named Scott Leneker who taught parents cuss words way back then. Like, he had a better cuss. Well, he was that kind of guy. He comes over to me and looks at me and says, "Don't worry, Jeff, I'm going to get that guy." And he went out and took care of him for me as like a 6, 7, 8-year-old soccer player. Have you ever get knocked out of a game, told one of your teammates, "Hey, go get that guy for me"?
Well, I mean, throughout the whole career, we've been fortunate to have some pretty tough guys. When I was in Philly, I got Brashear and Josh Gratton and different guys, Todd Fedora, guys that could fight. So they opened up the ice for a lot of different players. You didn't want to mess with them. And then obviously in Columbus had Jared Bowl and Derek Dorsett and different guys that could really stand up for each other. And I definitely was able to do it myself and stood up for myself a few times, but I think as a group, I was fortunate to be on some teams that were team tough, and we stood up for each other as much as we could, and you didn't let somebody take advantage of another one of your teammates. That's for sure.
Is there? I know you're forever etched in Jackets lore for scoring the first postseason goal against the Red Wings way back then, the first time the Jackets had a goal there, and in the postseason. Is that your most memorable goal, or is there another couple that stand out to you more?
I think with the Blue Jackets, that's one of them. It was a pretty big deal to get that first one, and while it was in Detroit, we didn't win, but that whole series, just being there for our team was a huge accomplishment, and we were proud. We were in getting that first one was big, and there were some big games, some overtime goals. I think that one's just kind of been in the forefront most recently, so it sticks out a lot. There were a few back when I played in Philly in the playoff series of 2008. We made a long run to the conference finals, and there were a couple against Montreal that stand out for me too. So, fortunate to play it a long time and score a decent amount of goals and have some good moments.
There's been Jackets just made a coaching change. Dean Evison fired his head coach, and Rick Bowness is one who's replaced him now. He played pretty well under him so far. I'm curious what you think why you think the Jackets have not been a perennial playoff team. Can you point to like one thing or two things without the organization's history? It's a big deal when the Jackets get now to the postseason still, because people look at the years that they didn't get there. And is there anything when you're watching, is there anything you see, anything you think of? It's like the Jackets just haven't been great at this, or they need something that's organizationally they need to change?
No, I'll tell you what, like, look, I was part of it for 6 years, and we tried everything we could. We gave it our, hardest effort every night, and I was able to get there 2 times, and it's not easy. And I remember the first few years I played in the league with Philly, like we got there and we went to the conference finals, and then someone telling me like, hey, enjoy the moment because never know if you'll get back there. And I played a decent amount of years later and never got back there. So it's just really hard. It's tough to do it every year, and go back and make the playoffs. In the Eastern Conference is these teams are as deep now. It's not as easy to make the playoffs. There's the parity is so strong. It takes a heck of a lot of points to win and get into the playoffs. And these teams that are able to do it year after year, it's special. You get a core group of guys that when it works and everything's clicking, it is something special to watch. So, I think there's a ton of talent here. I think the ownership and everybody, provide everything they can. And, the organization itself wants to be a perennial playoff team, and they want to win a Stanley Cup. So those are the right things. And, end of the day, it comes down to the players just getting it done. And, you got to have belief in it. And I think it is something that to be said for when you do start making it year after year. I think a tradition and kind of that just confidence will ooze through the building. It's just something that is contagious. But it's tough to establish that. And we're finding that out here right now. But I think the effort's there and the right people to hopefully get it done.
What player wowed you the first time you saw him on the ice?
First time, Peter Forsberg. My rookie year, I was fortunate to play with him there before he had some foot problems and his season ended a year or two later. But from the first practice, he was just amazing. His smoothness with the puck, his vision on the ice. I mean, you talk superstars, he was a superstar. And, he was such a nice guy too, down to earth in the locker room. And as a rookie for me, I was fortunate to have a guy that was so welcoming and just such a good role model and captain.
Saturday, January 24th, 7:00 is when the game will start there. Scheduled to start then. The Jackets coming up against Tampa Bay, and this is the 4th of their 25th anniversary game celebrations, recognizing Pascal Leclerc, Cam Atkinson, Derek Dorsett, and the guy with me right now, RJ Umberger. I work with Bobby Carpenter a lot, and I know that like football players, they don't age that well. Bobby looks great, but I'm saying like most football players, you look up, they get older, and you can see they've been put through the ringer. Do you feel that way after your career's over? Like, do you wake up with a lot of aches still, or is it all behind you now?
Luckily, it's for the most part behind me. I feel pretty good right now. I'm very fortunate and lucky. I think my career, maybe I look back at it and I wish I would have played it maybe a couple more years and, got to that 1,000 games or whatnot. But, when I finished playing and what really led to me playing, I was going through some back problems, some hip problems, and in the pain of every day, just everyday life was tough. It was hard to wake up every morning and get to the rink and all those things. And it eventually caught up to me, but I got it handled, and I got away at the right time where now I live a very, very, enjoyable life where, I don't have that daily pain. So I'm thankful for it. And, I don't regret any of that.
Emergency happens on Saturday and they say, hey, RJ, we need you to be on the fourth line. How many minutes could you give them right now?
I think I could stand in front of the net. That's about it. Don't ask for me to back check or forward check. I can go stand on the net in the power play, and that's about it.
How much difference were there when I know there's a couple of coaching changes when you were here. Like how much different was it when the new coach comes in? Like how much do they shake things up typically, or how much did they shake things up?
Well, I think it's definitely a challenge to shake a lot up, system-wise and everything. I think it's basically, for the coach learning the players, but just instilling that, the hard work and, all those core values that he wants you to play, getting back to the basics, being simple, having fun out there, but just working hard and believing in each other. There could be some small tweaks here and there in the systems and whatnot, but I think for the most part, it's just that kind of fresh, renewed energy that really carries a new coach the first, few months.
Favorite coach you ever played for?
I mean, for me, it's really simple, and I've said it from day, always. It's Ken Hitchcock for sure.
Yeah, Hitchcock came in. I remember it was a huge deal to get him here. Was he able, in addition to favors, he's the one who got the most out of you?
For sure, 100%.
Yeah.
He got it out of me in Philly, and I was fortunate early in my career to have that from him. And then again, he pretty much brought me back to Columbus and, played for him a second time. And he just was an honest. He told you how he wanted you to play. He, if you went out and you worked hard and you did the things that he wanted, he was very fair. He was demanding. He was tough, but I mean, brilliant mind for hockey. Taught me a lot, and like I said, he was a fair coach, and that's what you asked for as a player.
Get you out here on this one. Tell me about how you were asked or told you're going to be honored. Like what went through your mind, and what you're looking forward to doing on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the PR staff reached out around the start of the season and said that they are doing these nights and asked me if I'd be a part of one, and obviously truly honored, to be a part of this franchise and to be a part of this night. It's crazy how fast time's gone by, that this is, almost 10 years ago since I played competitive hockey. So I'm just happy to be part of it. My kids are old enough. They're going to come, they're going to be at the game, and, we're just going to enjoy the night as a fan of the Blue Jackets and, just celebrate, the fortunate that I was able to play here and play in the NHL.
He's one of the quartet of players being honored on Saturday night, January 24th at 7 o'clock with Pascal Leclerc, Cam Atkinson, Derek Dorsett, and RJ Umberger. So make sure you go check it out. They're doing, like I say, the season ticket holders get to be part of a private luncheon with the alumni, and then they'll be prior to the game. They'll get an autograph session going at 6 o'clock, and they're going to do the puck drop then before that, before the game actually starts. And listen, folks, go out there. It's going to be a great game against Tampa Bay, but also you might see RJ in front of the net if an emergency comes up. So just be ready for that.
Let's hope not.
All right, thanks for the time, RJ. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anytime.
All right, folks, that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, RJ Umberger, Derek Dorsett, Cam Atkinson, and Pascal Leclerc are all going to be honored this weekend over at the Schottenstein Center. So go check that out if you want to see those guys, get some autographs and whatnot. But Umberger's a fantastic guy, great friend of Columbus, lives in Columbus still, has kids here and everything, but great story. And I'm glad that the Jackets are bringing him back. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at ThatHappens, and we'll talk again soon. Lots going on in the world of sports this weekend, and we will talk again at ThatHappens. Check me out over there on Twitter, and we'll talk soon, folks. Have a great day.